many New Years have you set resolutions, only to give up and become disillusioned within the first 2 weeks of the year? Eventually you come to accept, after years and years of setting resolutions and not achieving them at the end of the year, that you're just inept. You're just somebody who can't achieve their goals. Every year is the same old story. You start the year excited and ambitious, and then at the end of the year, you look back at your resolutions and realize that you haven't achieved them. This inevitably will bring on the self-critic and bring on negative feelings and shame and acceptance of the fact that you're just simply weak, inept, incapable. And these feelings hardly would serve to inspire you for the next year when you want to achieve your goals. What if I offered you a different explanation? What if I told you that the problem was not you, but the problem was the way in which you approached goals? What if I told you that there was another way in which you can approach goals that could increase your chances of success? Hear me out. If you clicked on this video, maybe you're struggling with making goals or you're struggling with sticking to them. I'm going to argue that there are certain ways that you can change the way you approach goals to make them more likely to be achievable for you. This may seem fundamentally different to what you're used to, but you've tried your way. Has it worked? If it hasn't, try this. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work either, but you would have at least tried. So in this video, I'm going to talk about different ways of approaching goals. I'm going to talk about the difference between outcomes you can control and you can't. I'm going to talk about the difference between goals and set systems. I'm going to talk about the role of identity in goal formation and goal achievement. Have a think about these and see if any of them apply and can help you in your own goal setting. None of them might work, or some might, and you might take some and not others. Just have a play around. My first argument is that you are not weak because you are not achieving your goals. In his seminal book of Atomic Habits, James Clear makes the point that both people who achieve their goals and those who fail have both set goals. As such, if what set apart the successful people and the unsuccessful people is the goal setting itself, then surely everybody who ever sets a goal would achieve it, right? I'm sure you've heard the saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, or similar sayings like that you've grown up with, whereby people have preached the importance of goal setting. But I would make the case that the actual goal setting isn't what highlights the difference between those who achieve and those who don't. Otherwise, surely everybody who ever sets a goal would achieve it. Furthermore, think about yourself within your own life. Have there been instances that you have set goals and achieved them, and instances that you've set goals and not achieved them? If both cases exist, it cannot be the goal setting itself that makes the difference. What is it that makes the difference? What James Clear argues is that the focus should be on the systems rather than on the goals. What does he mean by that? While having goals are the results you want, systems are the processes to get you there. Too often we think about the goal, the outcome, which is really out of our control, at the expense of the systems. Whereas in his book, he argues that if you just focus on the systems and forget about the goals altogether, they will take care of themselves. Having the goal to get an A in your maths isn't really something that you can control because you can't control the actual grade. Both people who fail and people who get grade A in their maths might have the same goal, but it is not something you can control. Whereas what you can control is the systems to get you there. So, winners and losers have the same goals, but the systems they follow are vastly different, and hence the results are vastly different. So let's use a parallel with, say, opening a restaurant. You cannot have the goal to have 50 clients in a day because you cannot control the number of people that come into your restaurant. But you can control the variables that are likely to get you more customers. You can control the quality of your food. You can control the quality of your marketing, your branding, your menu, how good it looks. You can control the atmosphere. These are the systems. You can create and control the systems which are more likely to get you more customers. But I would go even as far as forgetting the goal. You make a goal at the beginning of the year, maybe, I want to get an A in maths, and then you forget. Your goal now becomes the systems. So, how do you focus on the systems and how do you get that to apply for you? Clear argues about the importance and power of small habits. This is where the systems comes in. They may seem insignificant in the moment, but done consistently, they add up. And the compound effect is a huge improvement over time. Small habits are very difficult to take seriously because of their very nature of being small. You don't see their effects daily, and you tend to dismiss them. Moreover, there is a common misconception in society that anything worth achieving must necessarily be difficult. As such, we tend to dismiss things that are easy. However, looking at the big achievements in life, they're just simply iterations of small improvements daily. Take James Dyson and the 5,127 iterations to create the perfect vacuum. Stephen King, his goal was not to create a bestseller or create a book that will turn into a movie. His goal was the system of writing 1,000 words a day. That was it, that was within his control, and that has done pretty well for him, I would argue, having written over 65 novels, 350 million books sold, and dozens of movies based on his work. Jerry Seinfeld has a don't break the chain method. Every day he writes a joke, he puts an X on the calendar. The goal is to never break the streak. He wants to see perfect line of X's. This visual reminder helps him see that he is achieving his goal of writing a joke a day. That's it. Simple, a system that he can control. It's small, it doesn't seem like much in the short term, but eventually it accumulates and adds up to one of the best comedies of all time. Don't fight me. There are many ways of breaking goals up, and you can experiment and play along with your own. I personally like quarterly quests, whereby you stay focused on your long-term goals by breaking down into smaller manageable challenges. So a quarterly quest is a gamified approach to goal setting whereby you only think of a 3-month period. You track your progress and make goals only for the next 3 months, that's it. And then you reflect, you change, you challenge, and you go for the next 3 months. If, for example, your goal is to get an A in your maths paper, on month 1, you can build the foundation. You can gather all the study materials and figure out what you need to study for the next 3 months. You can create a study schedule. Month 2, let's say you do deep learning and application. You start practicing exam papers. You start teaching the concepts to other people because they say teaching is an excellent way of learning. Month 3, you might use exam simulation. So you time yourself and do real-world exam settings. You play around with it. The quarterly quest is just one idea, but basically you break down your goals into more manageable periods of time. There are many reasons why these are better. They're clear and achievable. It's so much easier to achieve a 3-month goal than a 1 year, and you feel good and you want to achieve more. You can adapt your progress. If you're not doing the right thing, you can change it the next week or the next month. And it keeps you motivated because it's nice to have little wins, isn't it? Whereas if the goal was in a year from now, you don't get to see any results of your actions until a year later. So it's difficult to keep motivated. A second way that I would argue that goals are not serving you is because people focus far too much on outcome-based goals without thinking about the role of identity in goal achievement. There is a fantastic study that I'm going to link by Oysterman and al. In 2006, whereby they found the role of identity in motivation achievement. This study explained how identity-based motivation affects goal achievement. It suggests that people are more likely to pursue and persist in goals when they align with the self-concept or how you see yourself. If a goal aligns with how you see yourself, you're more likely to pursue it. So let's go back to the maths example. If you think of yourself as a bad maths student, it's less likely you're going to stick to doing consistent math studies because you just hate maths. You're someone who hates maths. Why would you do it? Furthermore, there are different ways in which identity can play a role to help you, to aid you in doing well in studying for maths. Let's say you don't see yourself as a strong maths student, but you do see yourself as somebody who enjoys studying, somebody who enjoys challenges, somebody who enjoys doing things that are hard. That can also help you with your goal to be a great maths student because you're all of a sudden, yes, maths is not your strong suit, but working hard is, or challenging yourself is. You can tell yourself, I'm a disciplined person. I like studying consistently. I like challenges. There are many ways in which your identity can help serve you in achieving the goals. So, how would you be able to change your identity in order to become somebody who, let's say, you want your identity to be somebody who's a consistent studier or who likes challenges? This is where reinforcing your identity through small wins comes into play. So, every time you act in alignment with your identity, it reinforces your belief. This is not talking about gaslighting yourself, but if you do small actions that align with the identity you want to have, you're more likely to start to believe that identity. James Clear argues that each action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. Let's say you want to say to yourself, I'm a consistent studier. A small action is so simple. Study 5 minutes a day. That's it. It's not much. It doesn't feel like much. It doesn't feel like you're achieving anything, but it is helping you align with the new self-belief that you are a consistent studier. So you study for 5 minutes a day, all of a sudden, you can start to believe the identity, I am a consistent studier. It doesn't matter that it's 5 minutes a day, you can't deny that you are a consistent studier. The starting point, I would argue, in this new way of approaching goals is to decide what identity you want. And every day, take tiny little actions to prove that identity. And they can be so small, but they still prove that identity. The more you do that, the more you become that identity without feeling like you're gaslighting or lying to yourself. And the more these systems will work towards getting you to be the exact type of person you want. Final takeaway is that success is a product of daily habits. It's not a once-in-a-lifetime transformation, despite what all these feel-good movies would like to have you believe. Just try and improve by 1% a day. You'll see massive results over time. I hope this helped, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and let me know what you think.